Hey guys, welcome back. Building Big with City Skylines, episode 30. I'm Enigmius, and today we're doing a little bit of expansion. We've already done some expansion, but we have to do a little bit more in a much larger scale. We've got our industrial area where we set up our transport tower with our custom-made surround. It's got the crazy walkways going around it. It's got a road going around it as well. I like the look of it. I'm really quite pleased with how it turned out. It takes up a lot of space. Realistically speaking, if we were trying to min-max and get as much out of the space that we were reusing as possible, probably wouldn't be the best kind of solution, but it seems to be working all right. I haven't set up any kind of metro service yet, but we've got plenty of room to place that, and we've got pedestrian walkways to get over the 6-lane road here to the tower, so I think it's going to be a good solution. The reason why I put it over here is because we've got the Expo Center doing the leisure bit over in this area, and then not far away we've got the mall here that's kind of servicing that area, so I figured we put it over here. Didn't really want to put a transport tower up over here before we'd finished expanding this outward. What I ended up doing, because I was kind of expanding the power, or extending the power, I guess would be a better word, using the power lines, and I got kind of tired of doing that because they end up just being in the way later on anyways. So I zoned some industrial so that the industrial would set up and basically do the connection that way. And that little bit of zoning, that little bit of extra industrial that I zoned, was enough to throw off the delicate balance that we had with enough workers for everything. Prior to doing that, we had just the right amount of workers for the oil patch, just enough of the right amount of workers, the right education levels for the forestry area, and then we wrecked it when we zoned this extra industrial. So we need to expand our residential area. And the best way, I think, to do that will be by purchasing this little chunk of land. This was always sort of part of the plan, was to buy the land along down here so we can have some, oceanfront property and some beachfront property and all these kind of things that really don't matter, but we'll pretend that they do anyways. So we're going to buy this for a whopping $9,000. And this way we can expand our low education residential area down around the trees. And suitable for building 50%. Yeah, we're again, if we're talking about min-maxing, we're not doing it here. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of get the road set up first. I want these roads to run more or less along the train tracks with an eye to future expansion. And what I mean by that is we're going to need to run some bridges, ramps maybe would be a better word, over the tracks at some point, so I want to keep that in mind and not necessarily crowd the tracks too much, but at the same time I also want to make sure that we're making slightly better use of the space that we are now. I think that's pretty close. We're going to have some kind of commercial or industrial buildings like directly next to the tracks. Like if you stick your hand out the back window of your warehouse or whatever it is, when a train goes by you might lose your hand. That's how close it's gonna be. But before we get too carried away, I just want to make sure, are we going to be able to do the up and over kind of scenario? I think it's going to be we're a little bit too close. Yeah, can we go? Oh, look at that. A lot too close is what we are with this guy. And then we're going to bring it around. Can we even do that? I don't think we can. We're gonna do like that. This is actually kind of fun, doing the overpass over the 6-lane do-jobby. And then we'll do something hopefully interesting over there. And now for this, I want to kind of curve it along with the train track. I've been getting a lot of practice with the curvy bits using the asset editor to make all those silly assets, which I find very, very fun and enjoyable and relaxing, but also very, very finicky. When you're sitting down to do a single asset, it's a lot. You can't just say, okay, good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's just a silly little asset. And if it's not, good all the way around, why did you bother in the first place, kind of thing. So we're gonna have I really don't see us expanding over in that direction, but at the same time, I don't see any need pushing this right up to the boundary. I think I'm happy with the spacing now between the track and the road, so we're just going to leave it, and if we do end up expanding, it'll be less correcting that we have to do as part of that process. And now here, we're going to use, again, the nice little silhouette for the zoning that it gives us to give ourselves some idea of how close we'll be matching the curve of the tracks. Using all the little tricks and tips. We need to turn off snapping for this part. It's not going to behave if we have snapping turned on. That ought to be good. And now what we can do is, so this is going to be residential, so we can switch this over to a 4-lane, and that'll be plenty, I hope. Oh, you know what? I just got an idea. Snapping is off. I'm wondering if we can't... No, I don't think we're going to be able to turn this into sort of like a pseudo-traffic circle. And I don't think I want to necessarily be having two intersections like this just to connect this up to the road. So instead of pushing our luck, yeah, we're just going to do like that. And then we can extend this along that way. Let's turn snapping on. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to match this sort of thing here, maybe. Oops, straight. We want straight for this part. That worked pretty well. That went together a lot quicker than sometimes these things go together. So we've got 4 lanes, and we'll start them out with the nice roads right from the very beginning. We want them to feel special and important. They're basically our hive workers. And we want them to have, you know, healthy self-esteem so that when they go to work in the oil patch and their supervisor communicates by screaming at all times, they'll be able to tolerate it for as long as possible before they have a nervous breakdown and are no longer able to work. So that's plenty of space, I think, for our low education workers. You got like low density and like all these other low things that you can have in the city, and we're specifically aiming for low education, which I think is truly outstanding. We're going to create a district here for our low education people. I don't really have a name for it just yet, which is fine. We're just going to do the district bit, and we're going to give them half the river, but they're not allowed to use the other half for anything. And now we just have to check utilities, make sure we've got water we can run like this and like this, and all the way up here. Grab it and pull it down like so. We'll do this a little bit farther, and this one just a little bit farther, and that way we can, whenever we're ready, we can finish zoning this without having to worry about the water connection. We'll pull this down a little bit more. Do we need garbage? No, we've got an incinerator there and an incinerator there, so that should be good. Health, we're going to need one of these guys. We're going to put that one right. Do we want it? We've got one there, I think. Or that could be a clinic. No, that's a crematorium there. So we don't necessarily need it too close, but we could put it right in here. Tuck it in, kind of hide it down out of the way like that. We are going to need another clinic somewhere. Again, we'll put it near the crematorium so that if things don't go so well at the clinic for you, at least you're just right across the street from solution number 2. We'll kind of get down in here and get a close look at where we're placing it relative to the other stuff that's going on. That'll do. I can live with that. So we've got that. What about fire coverage? Ooh, definitely need more fire coverage. We'll gonna tuck it up in here. Actually, no, that's not a very good place for it, because again, this area here is not one that I see us buying to expand. So we're better off putting the fire coverage where it's going to get full use out of this circle of coverage that it provides. Let's put it right here. I think that's a better choice than what I was originally going to do, and I think also for the time being, we're going to put one up here. Riverside Fire Department at your service, because this is, otherwise it's just like basically kindling up here, because it's the low education kids. And we just put fire department right across from another fire department. We have excellent coverage down here, which is good because this is the oil patch, and we don't necessarily want the oil patch catching on fire. Police coverage, because this is the not entirely smirked department of the city, it's good to have, so when they break out fisticuffs over how to make craft dinner, the police can respond quickly and reduce the number of fatalities amongst our hive workers, because they're important. All the things that we do to protect them from themselves, I think we can tuck one there. That'll do. It's not the best location. You can see we got it like a quarter circle. Actually, I'm going to change that right now. We can't leave that there. It's just not necessarily the goal. I almost feel like, yeah, we'll put it down here, actually. Again, wrong spot. Bad spot, because we're not going to get full use out of the circle. There, that's a bit better. These people are all mad now, but what they don't realize is they've already got fairly reasonable coverage from this one up here, and if we're going to add another one, I wonder, you know what, maybe that's what we should do, is we're gonna move this guy again. Stop it. Police station, we're gonna move him. We're gonna bring him up here, right across from the solar power spot, so that when the Brotherhood of Steel shows up to claim it, the police will be in a position to fight them off. And then we're gonna drop the great big mother of all police stations. Look at that. We get the extra coverage, just spreads all over the damn place. Should we do the same with the fire department? I think we should. I think that's going to be the key to success. We're going to get that. There we go. Spreading up that way. And then this guy, I think, is just no power. So let's kind of take a look. Yeah, he will get power once everything gets fired up and going. What else? Hydropower plant, solar power plant, and the nuclear power plant, which we can't use yet. School, elementary school only, because again, reading, writing, basic maths, we support that for the hive workers, but we can't afford to have them thinking for themselves, so we're just going to put this guy right. Can we tuck it right up in there? No. That'll have to do. There we go, because we got the elementary school there, another one there. We got good overlap. All the kids will be able to get their basic education. By the 3rd grade, they'll be graduating and heading off into the workforce. And transports. We need bus lines, because we don't trust these people with cars. The subclass. Here we go. We're just going to throw this in fairly quickly. We don't need super elaborate just yet, but at the same time, we want adequate. There's not much point doing this particular part of this process half-assed, because we're just going to have to come back later and pull it all apart and redo it. So we'll just do like so, and can we go? Yes, we can go around this way. With any luck, that will let us double back. Oh, there's the one that we wanted. And we wanted that to go back up the other way. Aha, there we go. I'm also getting the hang of setting up the bus routes, because this is kind of the game, really, is you set up the roads and you make sure that everything is connected that you want, and then you set up the services and you zone what you want to be built there, and then the people go ahead and basically take over and do the rest. So if I do everything right at the very beginning, it saves a little bit of time coming back later and messing around because I know I did it wrong. Because there are going to be times when I thought I did it right and I was wrong. I did it very, very poorly. And then I have to go back and fix it anyways. If you compound that issue with the things that I intentionally did half-assed, all of a sudden you're just spending all your time running around fixing things instead of expanding and growing and building. And that's not necessarily the way that I would like to play. So, finish off. There's our new bus loop. Not too worried. People can walk this far to get to a route on either side. That's not a big deal. And with that, I do believe, let's get a park or so in here. We'll get a playground for the third graders, the third grade graduates, so that they can go after work and play on the swings, as people of their age are often want to do. Just kind of bring this up. I don't want to... Oh, that actually might be about perfect. Not quite perfect, but close enough. And we'll do another one down here. Is that... I just want to make sure, because we're going to be extending the roads down this way. I don't want this guy to be blocking the road, so we're going to ship him off down this way, I think. See if it would do its thing there. That would be fantastic, but it won't. It's going to be kind of a jerk about it. What about up here? Because this is not a very big spot to begin with. All right, Park, you win this round. Don't think it's going to win you any points. Now we can zone. Nice big solid blocks of green. I love seeing that. That tells me I laid out the roads fairly well. We're going to go like that, and liquor store. You have to be at least 13 years old in this neighborhood to enter the liquor store and make a purchase. And for all that, now it's time to fire it up and see what happens to our city. We're going to have to keep an eye on power, water, and sewage. We got lots of upgrades going on, mostly related to this area up here. We've got houses springing up, but they have no power because the zones haven't expanded properly yet. There we go. We just got some power to those guys there. Residential demand is decreasing. Industrial demand is low. Commercial demand is moderate, heading up towards the medium area. But the main thing is we've got, look at all this. All abandoned buildings in the oil district, which is not ideal for what we're trying to accomplish here. This is why we built this. So as it fills out, that should hopefully address the worker shortage that we created when we zoned in this area and this area. You can see they grew up and then they just abandoned their businesses. They're like, yeah, we're gonna set up a sawmill and we're gonna hire like 20 different people. We're gonna provide some jobs. We're gonna make lots of money. And then like a month later, they're like, yeah, we're not coming back. We're not coming back ever. But you can see slowly the abandoned buildings problem is kind of diminishing, sort of alongside the rate at which these areas here are being developed. So major expansion. We just bought a new tile. We've got lots of room left if we need it, and we probably will. We can do more residential here if we have to. We can expand residential down maybe over here. The nice thing about the forestry is that it's low to no pollution, so we can literally have houses kind of across the street from, you know, tree farms and stuff like that. The noises would be kind of an issue, but all things considered, it could be a lot worse. The one thing I forgot to mention, before I put in these little makeshift traffic circles, you should have seen the traffic on this bridge. It was ridiculous. It was backed up to like over here. And I realized that this is sort of currently the main area that people are using to get from here over to here. And if I didn't put the traffic circles in, traffic was going to halt pretty much altogether on that bridge. Over here, everyone's happy, nice quiet area. Won't be for long. We're going to put something up there. I'm not exactly sure which. But in the meantime, look at that. Most of these buildings now are occupied again. Still some looking for workers, but they're at least occupied and making money, earning as tax revenue. Not a lot, but some. we just put in a lot of services, and the cost of adding in those services per week makes it look like we're not doing too well financially, but we are, because these areas are areas we're not going to have to upgrade police, fire, and all the other stuff for a little while. Buses are doing well. They're clipping right along. We're getting some upgrades now in that residential area, so I think we did all right. The next episode, we'll continue the expansion. We'll kind of take a look at where we're at. We might end up doing more commercial, either setting up some commercial for these guys or moving back over the river and expanding our commercial / office area to give, look at all the high rises in here now. Just while we're off doing other things, these areas are exploding. So if you want to be notified when I add those new videos, you can always subscribe to my channel and or follow me on social media. Links for social media always in the information box below the video. Please leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.